The following audio may contain the personal testimonials of some Optavia coaches or clients of Optavia. The results relayed in these messages are based on the unique experiences of the participants, and we cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. While you may be inspired by these accounts, please note that any stories of success have not been verified and your individual path to optimal health will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you consult with a healthcare provider before starting a weight loss program. Yours in health, the Optavia team.
So a lot of you have joined us tonight, and we're so glad that you've been here. What if you stuck around for another half an hour and joined us to learn a little bit more about what it means to be part of our full trilogy of optimal health? So we've talked a lot about healthy body tonight and a lot about healthy mind. And the third part of our trilogy is our healthy finances. And it's all about paying it forward. Have you had people who are noticing changes that you're making in your life? Have you had people who are noticing that maybe you are acting a little bit different in your life? Maybe you are being a better spouse or a better parent or just a better friend in general because of some of these mindset changes that you're making. So we would love for you to stick around as we talk a little bit more about that secret fifth component that really makes a huge difference for a lot of the coaches that enjoy it. So I want to welcome Jared, who's also going to be joining me for this portion. So take it away, Jared.
Yeah, so one of the things that I want you to, would love for everybody on to just open your mind up for the next half hour. And I often ask people this question, that if knowledge equals results, then what do you really know? I've learned over the last decade, especially being part of Optavia, that I don't really know very much because I'm perfectly designed for the results that I'm getting. And oftentimes I say, oh, I know how to do that. Have you ever said, oh, I know how to get healthy, right? Well, then why aren't you getting healthy? Is it because you don't actually want to be healthy? No, I want to be healthy. Well, what's stopping you then? They may know how to balance their food. They may know how to exercise. Maybe they don't know how to execute. Maybe there's a hole somewhere that we don't know.
Sorry.
So freaking me out there, like so it's really important that we open ourselves up and say, I mean, I love one of my mentors, never met the man, but I consider him a great mentor of mine, is the great coach John Wooden. And he always said that it's what you learn after you know everything that counts. And so every single day of my life, I'm like, what can I learn today? Because that's what really counts. Because I knew everything that I ever needed to know when I was like, I don't know, 12 or something like that. So
12, I think it took me till 13 at least.
13. I matured really fast. So some of what I love about Optavia is the history of our company. Dr. Anderson was one of the most respected critical care physicians in our country, 10th board certified critical care physician. And he was a pioneer in that area of his life. And you know, his wife Lori told us a funny joke one time that in the hospital where he works, a lot of the other health professionals joked that they were going to tattoo somewhere on their body that in case of an emergency, a medical emergency, take my body to Dr. Wayne Anderson. He was that good of a doctor.
Good thing they didn't get that tattoo.
Right, absolutely.
Not doing that anymore.
But Dr. A wanted to help people create health, and he was working in an industry that was really reacting to disease. And he wanted to move further upstream and be able to have a positive effect on people's lives rather than just prescribing medications to deal with symptoms. that were maybe helping in some ways, but they long term, it's almost more damaging because you're not helping these people adjust the habits of their life. One of the things that we talk about, and this is our healthy mind is the most important part, I think, of this whole process, because the way we think. Have you ever driven somewhere and when you got to your destination, you're like, oh my gosh, how did I get here? Don't worry, you were safe. You probably didn't run over any pedestrians, hopefully, but a part of your brain kicks in, the habit center, it's called limbic system, and it just, you run on autopilot. And so what we want to do is to wake you up and help you understand that there's some tools, and Optavia has 4 main elements or components that we focus on in our programs with every single one of our clients and coaches to help them wake up to the world and be able to actually create and understand the destination that they're trying to get to. So our focus is lifelong transformation. That sounds way better than just, oh, I want to lose 50 pounds. That was me 10 years ago. I just wanted to lose 50 pounds. But I really deep down wanted to transform my life. I wanted to feel differently. I didn't want, not just physically, I wanted to feel differently about the person that I looked at in the mirror. I wanted to have more self-confidence. Self-confidence is a process of keeping promises to ourselves. When you're able to keep promises to yourself day after day, week after week, year after year, you feel like you can go out and accomplish anything you want.
Yeah, and what's the answer, I guess, is the question that is on a lot of people's minds, because just like in Dr. Ray's life book, in that Element 6, he talks about a statistic that 45 million Americans per year go on diet. And 85% of them gain it all back within 2 years or less. So what we want to do here is we want to create lifestyle change. We don't want to create more dieting, more yo-yoing, more doing the same thing that we've always done. And that's where our 4 components come in. And I love the 4 components of our program. Everyone has a coach. You have that accountability. You have somebody who's on the road with you. They're not perfect. And guess what? You don't need to be perfect to be a coach. And that's good news. But you know what happens when you are checking in on someone else, when you're saying, I'm going to reach my hand out into my community and bring someone with me? Your accountability goes up. And that's a good thing. The second is our habits of health transformational system. If you don't have your life book yet, this thing is going to change your life. You actually write in it. And there is an app, but no, you're not typing your thoughts into a computer to be lost into cyberspace. You are actually putting pen to paper, and there's something very powerful about doing that. The third is the Optavia community. If you're on this call right now or listening to a playback, congratulations, you are participating in the third component of our system. And then the fourth is our fuelings. And I think it's so important to note that when you are needing to create new skills in your life, because to Jared's point, you don't know what to do unless you have the results. You're creating new skills. You need several things in order to make that happen. The first one is you need some structure. And the second is you need some support. And if you look at these 4 components, your coach, support, the habits of health, structure, the community, support, the fuelings, structure. And this is based on science, you guys. This isn't just like, oh, we threw some stuff together and good luck. And I love that our eating plans are they're very structured. They are foolproof. You can't mess it up. You just eat food and you melt away.
Yeah, so a little bit more about each of these elements. Your coach. When Amber's mom became a coach 11 and a half years ago, I said no to her for 18 months. Why? Oh, I already know how to do that. And in a very, very kind, loving way, she's like, well, it doesn't look like you know how to do it because you're not getting those results. So she wasn't there to be my boss or slap cupcakes out of my hand or anything like that. She was there to, I mean, we're all told not to text and drive, right? So I've made a goal and I don't text and drive, right? But you know what's super easy when we're on a road trip together is if someone else can do the texting, someone else can punch in the GPS coordinates or whatever, where we're going, so I don't have to mess around with something. That's what your coach is. They're there to lead you and guide you to this. This is like the life book, yeah, to the habits of health. And a lot of people, you know, the whole story about the gold at the end of the rainbow. This is the gold at the beginning of the rainbow. The life book. Like, tap into the gold. Like, start using the gold right up front so that you can, Wendy in the chat said, it's the navigator. We're just the navigator. We're here to guide you and show you the path. So use help. What I've also learned about a coach is that accountability. We really, really, really struggle being accountable to ourselves. It's so easy to lie to ourselves. Yeah. So when we develop that accountability with a partner, someone who cares about our goals, it helps us build personal integrity. What's integrity? It's doing what you say you're going to do even when nobody's watching. So the habits of health, get involved with that life book every Wednesday night at 5:30, 6:30, 7:30, 8:30 respective time zones is the habits of health. We're going through each one of the elements in the life book. And you can always tap into the podcasts and YouTube playbacks and go back and start at one or whatever element that you might be struggling with or whatever element that you really want to strengthen.
And then the community. I just love the community, and not just virtual events, but get together in person as much as possible. See who else is an Optavian in your town or where you live, or drive an hour. You guys, it's so great to just get together with like-minded people and to strengthen each other. And then the fuelings, like I said earlier, they are goof-proof. They provide structure. They work. It's amazing. You just eat 6 times a day. Every 2 to 3 hours you're eating. You're drinking your water. You're getting nutrient-dense food rather than calorie-dense, nutrient-low, which is typical in the American diet.
I'm going to go back to the phone example right here. Like these devices, when did you start using yours? 5 years, 10 years, 15 years ago, whatever, and the technology moves so fast. Could you, like, I have people like, well, how long do I need to use these fuelings? Do I have to use them forever? Do you have to use your phone forever? Yeah, you're going to. For the same reason that 100 years ago or whatever, when the dishwasher and laundry machines and automobile were created, nobody's going back to wagons and washboards.
I'm going to start sending actual letters instead of emails, like, because I don't want to have to rely on technology. What if technology just stopped?
The fuelings are structured technology. They're goof-proof, like Amber said. I will use them for the rest of my life because they help me create the desired outcome that I have. With my health, they help me feel physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, the way that I want to feel.
So let's bring on a good friend of ours, Katie Frampton. And Katie, why don't you share with us a little bit about how your life has been blessed from the 4 components, and maybe a little bit about how that 5th component has blessed your life as well.
Hi, you guys. Thanks for letting me be on, asking me. I think my husband Dave is on here somewhere in the Los Angeles airport. I don't know how you can get him on here, but anyway, first of all, how cool is Dr. A? Like, I just have so much love for that man, and I will always be grateful for him and what he's done for all of us. And Amber and Jared have been awesome and are awesome mentors to me. And they and all my other mentors have made me really, really uncomfortable the last couple of years and have pushed me to grow. And it's been awesome. Because that's when growth happens, right? Is when we're uncomfortable. That's what I love about this. So that girl on the left there, I just love her so much. She was such a mess. So her husband was living out of town, out of state. She was kind of doing the single mom thing, which was new and scary and hard. And he was only able to commute home like once a month, if that. So she was lonely. Her marriage was a mess. Her finances were a mess. Her spirituality was a mess. Her health was a mess. Just really, really messy. And so one day she's on Facebook, and I saw my coach's transformation and stopped what I was doing and immediately texted her and said, I don't know what you're doing and I don't have any money, but I really need your help. And she said, oh my gosh, Katie, you're going to love this. And the thing is, at that point, you know, like so many other people, I had tried so many things and tried them on my own, and of course was not successful. So there was some fear there, but I really wasn't wanting a fad diet. And the funny thing is, I had heard about this program, I don't know, 3 or 4 times before talking to my coach. And I was super below the line about it. I didn't want to hear a thing about it. I actually told my husband once, I'm like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard of. I will never do that. And it's because I didn't know what it was. I just thought it was this fad diet where you lost weight and then gained it all back, you know, like everything else that we try. And so when she explained to me that it was like a whole health and wellness program and explained the 4 components, I was like, oh my gosh, this is what I've been looking for. Yes, 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 yes. And it just ticked all the boxes for me. So I jumped in, and that's why I'm so grateful to that girl, because she was a mess and she was brave, and I will forever be grateful to her that she did that, because I wouldn't be where I am today without her taking that leap of faith. But I think what it was is that she just was she felt out of control. She just wanted to control something in her life. You know, life was happening to her. And so she took hold of that. And I really had no idea what I had in my hands. And within a week, I kind of was figuring it out, because not only did I feel amazing physically, and I was seeing results, and I was saving time, not meal prepping, and I was saving money, not buying all the crap at the store and the, fast food. And I was just totally geeking out about all of the habits of health stuff and Dr. A and the webinars. And, my kids, had their mom back, and I had energy and just so many things. The brain fog was clearing, and I was like, this is different. Plus I felt like I had hit the easy button. It just was so much simpler than anything I had ever tried. And so I like to use the word, my dad used to use this all the time growing up, and he used to call things divinipitous. So it's like, when something's not really a coincidence, it was like divinely orchestrated. And I knew that I was supposed to see that post that day that my coach posted. And like I said, at that point, I didn't know how much it would change my life, but I knew right away that I needed to share it. And I felt really compelled to share what I had found. It was a total answer to my prayers. And I wanted to bring that to somebody. I wanted to share it with somebody, even if it was just one person. I had to share this. And I mean, it is the coolest feeling when somebody tells you you're an answer to their prayer. Just to know that you have partnered with God to bring somebody's answer and help them on the path to a better life. And plus the fact that I knew once I came to reach my goal, that I would need help and I would need extra accountability. And as you know, as a coach, you're accountable to your clients, you're accountable to the public, you're, you know, it just, you kind of level up your health when you do that. So I went on to lose 35 pounds, which was awesome, way more than I thought I was gonna do, and it was great. And then since then, I've just been able to optimize my health and learn a lot about that. But in the meantime, I was really, I mean, that the health stuff's great. It's amazing. But what I really was benefiting from was the growth mindset and changing my relationship with food and with everyone in my life, everything in my life. And so going back to my husband, he would commute home once a month and would see this person that he was married to, but she was different every time. And she was smaller, but she was also, you know, growing and changing and developing and progressing and improving. And he wasn't. And so it was hard. It was kind of hard because he, you know, when he finally finished that part of his career and came back and was, you know, home full time again, it created some issues. And he, you know, we weren't quite on the same page, you know, and we were literally growing apart, even though we were back together. And so, so I was still trying to help him with his health. He had been diagnosed with diabetes type 2 a few years earlier.
Hey, Katie,
I thought,
do you see that Dave is on now?
Oh.
Should we let him take it from here? What do you think?
Let me finish just this one part. I'm going to tell you this part of his story. But basically, I felt a lot of responsibility. When he was diagnosed, we got this thick packet from the doctor on what we should do with his diet. And they sent us home with some medication and sent us on our way. And so I felt this huge load of responsibility, like I'm supposed to fix these meals for him. And meanwhile, he was picking the vegetables off his plate. And I'm like, dude, help me out here, you know? So, so he just wasn't interested in help. He told me at one point he was just going to let it kill him, and I would be taking care of this, you know, slowly dying person the rest of my life. And anyway, so I just said, okay, how about you just eat every 2 to 3 hours, like the doctor said. Like that's what they're telling you to do. Just eat every 2 to 3 hours and take these bars to work. So he started doing that, and he really liked them, and he started dropping weight just doing that, just balancing his blood sugar. And so he's like, there's something to this. And then he would come home from work and start getting really kind of annoyed with me because I'd be on my phone texting or talking to somebody, just totally smiling and, oh my gosh, that's so amazing. He's like, what are you so happy about? You know? And I'm like, oh, I just talked to a client and, you know, they're so happy and I'm so happy. And he's like, yeah, he just was annoyed. And so finally I just said, you know what, dude, what is your problem? And he's like, I'm jealous. People don't need me like they need you. And I don't get phone calls like that from work. And I'm not happy like that. And I said, well, coach with me. He's like, really? I said, yeah. He's like, I said, but you'll have to go on program. So it just happened to be that we were having a training call that day, and Kat and John Fuller were leading it. And I said, come watch this training with me. You can see what our community is like. And he got on and he's like, I don't know who those people are, but that's what I want. And I said, okay. So he started on program, ended up losing the rest of his 55 pounds. Little did I know, and this is the part he's going to share, but little did I know that he had had a conversation with my daughter in the meantime that kind of really changed things for him. So I'll let him take over that part.
Hey, Dave, in 2 minutes, wrap this up with a nice bow. Oh, you got to unmute. There we go.
Can you hear me okay? Can you hear me? Yeah, good. Okay. So real quick, Katie can talk more than I can, so I'll be the quick version. But so yeah, what really got me 100% on the program, there were a few things, but what really hit me was I was having a conversation with my daughter Claire, who was 8 years old at the time. We have 3 kids, a son and 2 daughters. Claire's my favorite. It is what it is. And she came up to me and she was just concerned. And she said, Dad, you're not going to be at my wedding. Like, oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry. I didn't realize you were getting married, kind of joking with her. And then she said it again, but I could really see it was troubling her. She said, no, you're not going to be at my wedding, Dad. And I said, Claire, why on earth would you say that? Of course I'm going to be there. And she said, Davey, our son, who was 16 years old at this time, Davey said, oh, Dad will be dead by then. So my 16-year-old told my 8-year-old that I would be dead before she got married. And immediately right there, that's what I needed to hear. That was my why. My children are still my why. My wife is my why as well. So the program changed my life, and jumped on the coaching with Katie. And the reason that I coach with her is because I love seeing people change. I love being able to share what I've been able to do with other people and give them hope. And it's like, if I could do this, literally anybody can. I was the worst eater on the face of the earth, I promise. So if I can do it, you can do it. Thank you for letting me share. Amber, Jared, I love you guys. Very much appreciate everything you do for us.
Thanks so much, Dave. We appreciate you.
We're going to hear a little bit more from Dave next month when we host again. But we appreciate you guys being willing. It's the Framptons are one of the reasons that we love what we do, and that both Katie and Dave talked about this. That healthy body, healthy mind, healthy finances. These are all parts of our health. If we just focus on one element, there's something that we're missing. And things in Dr. A's life book, right at the beginning, he talks about the story of the mason jar. You have to fill up the jar. You can't just put 1 or 2 pebbles in there and be like, okay, that's enough.
Well, you got to put the important things in first.
Right.
And how it's just so important, I know, for us in our life. And I heard this in the Frampton story, that how important it is to feel like I'm actually helping someone else. Like I'm contributing, I'm making a difference. I'm reinforcing my decision to be healthy. Well, it's fun.
I want to reverse that a little bit too. It's not just that it's important that you do this for you. It's important that you potentially coach someone else, because they will only do it through you.
That's so true.
So we have a progressive growth model where someone comes in as an Optavia coach, and we grow into a business coach and then a business leader, and we're able to move from addition to multiplication, and we're able to affect more lives because we're able to grow personally and then be able to transfer more skills and more leadership.
Well, and that's what we need with 70% of our country being overweight and obese. We need more people who are willing to put themselves out there and say, I have an answer. I can help you. Let's do this together.
I don't personally know all 45 million people who are going on a diet every single year.
You don't know all them?
I don't know all of them. And even if I did know them all, I couldn't help them all. They need people who are closest to them to be willing to hop in that car and go on that road trip and be their navigator for them.
Yep. And whether you want to do coaching because you want part-time income to help your family, or because you want to be full-time, like Jared and I have been doing this. We work from home. We've been full-time in this for 8 years plus. And it's amazing. It's flexible. You can work from home. You can work from anywhere. And you do how much you want to do. There's no quotas or how many people you have to help. It's how many people do you get to help.
The last line on that previous slide was complete training and support. We actually hope that you come to us with no training as a blank slate. Let us show you how successful coaches support their clients and their coaches and help move people through this transformational system. Some people will come in and be like, oh, I know how to do it. And they don't have the same results because they're taking something from somewhere else that they learned in life.
Yeah.
And so just be open to doing it in a very simple system that will help move people from where they are to where they want to be.
And just to wrap up, if you have been diving into your life book, you've probably learned about the lizard brain and the Labrador brain, and then the human brain that Dr. Ray talks about. It's like a triangle that at the base level, your knee-jerk reaction is probably going to be fear. And it's new. And I don't know enough to be a coach, or I don't know if I could be a good coach, or I don't look like a coach, or, you know, there's all these things that just like roll around in our brain that are just knee-jerk reaction. But when you stop, take a deep breath, go to your thinking part of your brain and say, what do I need to know? I need to know how to tell someone to open a rubber. I need to know how to drink some water and how to care about someone. That's what you need to know. And to go, yeah, we're scared every day to talk to someone and to connect with people and to be that person that reaches their hand out and helps. Normal, new, but let's overcome that. Let's help more people in this country to change their lives.
Yeah, Tony Robbins says that, to close this up, Tony Robbins says that how to measure a decision. The measure of a decision is that new action has been taken. If no new action has been taken, a decision has not been made. So we would invite you to make a decision. That decision may very well be just reach out to the person who invited you on this Zoom tonight and say, hey, I want to explore what this could look like for my life.
It may or may not be for you.
It may or may not be for you.
You don't know till you explore.
But just explore. It never hurts to have the information.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us tonight, you guys. Thank you, Framptons. Especially Dave joined us right from the airport. That is commitment. Love it. Thank you so much, you guys, and have a fantastic, healthy week. We'll see ya.
This audio may have contained the personal testimonials of some Optavia coaches or clients of Optavia. The results relayed in these messages are based on the unique experiences of the participants, and we cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. While you may be inspired by these accounts, please note that any stories of success have not been verified, and your individual path to optimal health will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you consult with a healthcare provider before starting a weight loss program. Yours in health, the Optavia team.